So now the release of 24 billion shillings to schools will go a long way toward helping schools offset their pending bills. However, for some schools, it could as well be a matter of too little, too late. Now, this is after it emerged that the money released yesterday was merely 20% of the 2022 capitation. As the Shadrach Committee reports, now school heads are now demanding that going forward, the Ministry of Education should be releasing circulars indicating how the money released by government ought to be used.
There is confusion as to how much the government owes schools between last year and now. And while schools appreciate the 24 billion shillings capitation released by the government, there is a feeling that the money released was too little. Besides, a section of members of parliament have challenged Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogo to explain how the government disbursed 24 billion shillings and not 28 billion shillings as earlier promised.
The CS promised Parliament that he'll be sending 28 billion Kenya shillings, but he fell short of 28 billion by about 4 billion. The actual money that was sent to schools, and this is very important for Kenyans to know, was 24 billion only. But the CS indeed lied to Parliament that he'll send 28 and he said send 24. So he needs to come out clearly and explain what really happened and why he lied to the House. Remember, Parliament is a house of records.
With debts and pending bills amounting to millions of shillings, schools are faced with a tough choice to make between clearing old bills and debts against meeting recurrent expenditures.
We are in an awkward situation because if you have not been given the funding from behind there, you know, even things like co-curricular activities and other activities, they rely on that funding. And the day schools, you can imagine where there is no payment for boarding money, the situation is even worse.
This erratic release of FSC makes our programs difficult to run, because even for last year, I know most schools have not even paid suppliers for their laboratory equipment, for their stationery, and yet, again, we are pushing them to supply us with preparatory equipment and reagents because we are starting exams. We are pushing stationers to give us because we are doing exams. So it becomes so difficult.
Whereas we acknowledge an attempt to remedy this situation, no single capitation has been sent to schools for the year 2023. What was sent was simply clearing the debt for 2022. Now, meaning that schools will use these amounts to pay the debts of the year 2022. But in terms of management of tuition and other undertakings in schools, paying workers and so on for 2023, nothing is sent there.
School heads are further demanding for circulars from the Minister of Education describing how the money ought to be used. Principals argue that the absence of circulars leaves them exposed.
Originally, the money would be sent, but with a circular indicating which voters are going to be, the money is going to be spent on. But twice now, monies are sent 20%. We don't know when the next bunch will be sent. And no circular is sent that this specific money should be spent on these voters and these voters. Slowly, the government is actually abandoning schools.
With term 2 of 2023 nearly midway, it is worrying that the government is still struggling to fund last year's arrears. Shadrach Committee, Capitation News.